hat on and focusing on the telecom space for now. Nitin Soni, Director Asian Corporates from Fitch Ratings, joins us to talk more about it and share his perspective on the industry. Nitin, hi, good afternoon, and thank you for coming on board. Talk to us about what are the indicators that you've seen in Bharti Airtel's FY19 results, which are sort of hinting at a Indian mobile sector rebound.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. So we basically saw that in the fourth quarter results, that indicates to us that there is rationality coming back into the Indian telecom market. Probably we estimate that the average revenue per user for Bharti has grown to about 110 to 115 levels compared to 104 last quarter. And for the first quarterly, EBITDA has actually grown to 70 billion INR. That is first in the last 4 quarters. And revenues have also increased by 2%, the quarterly revenue on a sequential basis. So that tells us that, there is the competition is easing in the market. There are no new aggressive tariff campaign from Reliance Jio. And we expect the overall tariff level to increase by 10 to 15% in the next 12 months. Along with that,
Nitin, just wanted to address that. Nitin, I just wanted to talk about that tariff increase that you said. So over the last 10 years, tariffs have not gone up, right? But subscriber base has really gone up. So now even a 5% increase will lead to a very high operating leverage?
It will, but I don't think I would share the enthusiasm on a very high operating leverage. What we believe is that on one hand, they have been cutting costs. Most of the telcos have been reducing their cost structures. On the other hand, the ARPUs have been going down. But when the ARPU grow from here, I think, yes, that will be EBITDA margin accretive. Their EBITDA margin will improve. Their absolute EBITDA will improve. But you won't see such a huge surprise on the absolute cash generation because, again, this is a sector which will remain competitive because Jio would still try to gain more subscriber market share from Voda Idea and Bharti.
Is it, tariffs driven on back of value-added services that you're betting on? Will that be the key driver?
Yes, that is one of the things in the overall puzzle, and one of the strategy of these telcos is that they are driving the revenue per user higher by bundling a lot of these value-added services, including news, sports, movies, and music. And that will really help in providing more value-added services to subscribers, and subscribers would be attracted to pay more for overall monthly bill, and that will increase their ARPU. Another factor is that as more and more rural subscribers, the tier 2, tier 3 subscribers start using data as much as the 10 GB data which the metropolitan subscribers are using, that will also lead to an ARPU improvement. And we have seen that incumbents have already introduced a minimum ARPU plan of 35 rupees. So that's another factor which is leading to an ARPU improvement.
Right, and we were talking about asset sale as well. So, fundraising overall from Bharti, from Idea, from Jio via their Invest. What do you make of this activity?
Sure. So, see, all of these telcos need money. They need to monetize their assets because they know that in a couple of years they will have to invest on the 5G infrastructure, 5G spectrum auctions. And Bharti, as we know that they are in the process of raising the rights equity issue of $3.5 billion, which is due to complete on, I think, 17th of May. And then we expect them to raise another $1 billion from the African IPO and another $2 billion from the sale of stake in the Indus Infratel combined entity. So that will provide a lot of relief to the balance sheet. We know that Idea has already, raised $3.5 billion, which may not be the last equity issuance from Voda Idea. And Reliance Jio also will monetize some of their fiber assets through the InvIT structure, which will give them more cash to bid for the 5G auctions. So for 5G, fiber is going to be very critical. India lacks fiber infrastructure. Most of the fiber in India is intercity. It's not intracity. When you come to the adoption of 5G technology, India needs a lot of infrastructure on the intracity fiber. So within Delhi, within Mumbai, telcos have to densify the fiber. They have to fiberize their towers. And that's the reason why most of the average Indian consumers have a very poor internet experience and the frequent call drops. So that is the need for these telcos for the next 2 to 3 years perspective. They need to significantly step up their investment on fiber.
So how soon before, Bharti Airtel achieves a positive free cash flow situation?
I think free cash flow will remain elusive for this sector, not only for Bharti, I think for the entire sector, because the cash generation would still not be sufficient enough to, sufficient enough to cover the capex, high capex requirements. And as I said, they need to invest significantly on the fiber infrastructure. But I think most of these telcos have a view that capex has probably peaked in 2018 or financial year 2019. So most of these telcos are now calling out and they think that capex for FY20 will be lower than the FY19. But we maintain that we are of the view that, the capex would still be very high. Maybe, it will come down by 5 or 10%. But still, there are large capex requirements for India to match a similar kind of an internet or a voice experience as some of the other regional telecom markets.
Okay, Nitin, great chatting with you as always. Thank you so much for sharing with us your perspective on the entire telecom industry and some specific companies as well.